Okay, guys. Hello. How are you doing? Let me know, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are your takeaways from this game? Certainly, a lot of you are going to be blaming Piqué. A lot of you are going to be blaming Neto. A lot of you are going to be blaming Koeman. I don't know. I just want to know, what do you feel was the problem today? What do you think was the problem today? First impressions, leave them down right now on the chat. I'll take a look over them. We need to understand what happened today, because a game like this one, you simply cannot give away 3 points. That is something that simply cannot happen, especially of a club of the stature of Barcelona. So we need to know, understand, dissect, analyze the problems that certainly created this awful, horrendous defeat. I'm gonna say defeat. It's 2 tables on the. It's 2 points down the drain, but it tastes like defeat. It literally tastes like defeat. I feel like Barcelona here have underachieved, especially if you take into account that the goal was a mistake. You take a look at a team parking the bus, not even parking the bus, they parked the freaking like entire, I don't know how you would say, they parked a tank, man. They parked a humongous thing right there, like 20 elephants in the goal, because that isn't parking the bus. That's like, I don't know what's the Italian name. There's a strategy, a tactic in Italian football that it was named that. I don't know what it's called, but it was that. It was literally that. A lot of you are saying Busquets should be benched. And guys, here, okay, listen me out. This is something which is new. I'm gonna start banning some people for spamming because it's horrible. I'm gonna be giving you timeouts. That's basically what it means. It means that you cannot comment on the chat for like 10 minutes or things like that. And I do not like doing that. But it's simply it's the only way I must act if I want to be able to read all of your questions. But simply from what you just see from the chat by now, so remember, don't spam. I see a lot of Busquets from a lot of different people. Busquets. Pjanic must be a starter here, for instance. Panosman07 says Busquets should not ever start again ahead of Pjanic. And I sort of agreeing on that. Honestly, look, if I can go to my desktop here, I'll show you here. This is what I have. That's this show. Okay, no. Quickly, let me open up. I'm gonna show you my display over here, and I want you to see something for you guys, because I'm on the same boat. Below my webcam, there we go. Look at this. I'm just editing the thumbnail for the video I'm gonna be doing on Busquets, because honestly, this man, Busquets, thank you for everything you have done, but you literally add nothing to the team anymore. The only things you were good at, now you are kind of just sucking at. So that means that you're basically not balancing, you're not giving any sort of advantage to our side. So hopefully you realize that, and like a man, like a 32-year-old man, you can go to Koeman and say, you know what, Ronald? I cannot start anymore. Lo siento de mucho, pero no estoy al nivel necesario para poder jugar en un equipo como el Barcelona. Así que Busquets, please do that the next time you see Koeman, and yeah, that's what you need to do. You literally are trash so far. I can't with Busquets right now. I really can't. So wait. Here, like Erin is saying, Bully, Setien, Setien over Koeman. Koeman has treated so much better than Setien. If Setien would have coached the squad, we would have accomplished so much more than before. I'm not too sure, Erin. I'm really not too sure. The thing that I like Koeman, and honestly, what Koeman has done that Setien hasn't, is actually put in place some of the people that are here in the club. So, for instance, get away the Luis Suarez, get away the Rakitic, players that we do not want to see let go, but eventually are the players that need to transition out of the club. So that's what I like about Koeman. Here, for me, Koeman has no of the blame, has absolutely not even a single inch of blame. Koeman, for me, is free. He literally cannot be given any sort of blame because he needs time and all of it. If there's something to blame, well, there's one thing to blame, and that's that Koeman keeps starting Busquets. That's the only thing to blame. Sorry about that. I'm a hypocrite. But in reality, like if this team, for instance, we end outside, let's say, the Champions League, I'm not gonna give that much blame to Koeman because I really do not believe that is his fault. It's simply the result of so many years of disasters before. Koeman does not take that because he wasn't here before this season. He was here from now onwards. So he has to take the job of actually taking all the pieces of whatever shit has been happening and trying to assemble something that is proper, a campaign that can actually give this team a sort of trophy. And that is what you actually have to comment. There are people in this world that do those toughest jobs that makes your life easier. And that is what Koeman is doing here for the next manager. Be it Xavi, be it Pep Guardiola, be it whoever comes in afterwards, he is making the job easier for them. And likewise, Carles Tusquets, which is going to be our new president, he's going to be doing the same. So this is a moment of transition. And results like this, like, of course, we don't want them to happen. But in my overall view, I can take a year of absolutely being trash if it means that we can actually reassemble for the future. That is sort of what I believe needs to happen. But with that being said, this result is something that you can simply kind of validate and credit. I'm not doing that. This result is 10 men down, a red card included. You are talking as well about having, what, 6 attacking players by the second half? It was literally Frankie de Jong, a center midfielder, next to Piqué. Then we had Sergio Roberto and Jordi Alba, 4. And then 6 of the other outfield players were all attacking. We had Pedri being our other kind of holding midfielder. Messi would come in deep. You had Trincao for the right. You had Ansu Fati and Antoine Griezmann up top next to them. It was literally as attacking as it could be. It was just everything, basically. Everything thrown into the saucepan, trying to see what could happen. That's exactly what was going on. What else do we have, guys? So one thing here is that, for instance, just to say, the chat here, it goes too fast, and I don't know how to fix that. I have no idea how to fix that. Some of you are saying there's a slow mode option, which I've already seen before, but I need to learn how to actually... Here, there's... Oh, okay. Enable slow mode. Okay, that should be better. Seconds between messages. I don't know how many seconds. I want to put minimum. I'm going to put second between messages. So every message goes every... Give me a minute. Yeah, I'm putting slow mode. Do not worry, guys. The thing is that seconds between messages, I don't know if it means for every message on the chat or like every message you type. I think it's every message you type. So I'm going to put just 1 minute. Okay, well, okay. That's where we are. Okay, so going back into the game, can we talk about Neto quickly before I move into your questions again? I have to admit in saying that is 100%, in my opinion, Neto's fault. You could argue that Busquets had a little bit because he passed it back to him, but in reality, Busquets didn't have any other outlet, and it's not like Neto was in a bad position at all. It was really, to be completely honest, the fault of... it was the fault then of Busquets, in my opinion. So a lot of you saying that 60 seconds is too long, but it's not like... It's 60 seconds not for you, but it's 60 seconds for the actual person. So for me, in a way. That is something that I have to learn. Sorry about that, guys. Sianwa Atemi says, what improvements can you say we've made so far? I would have to say that once our team looks more focused in a game throughout the entire 90 minutes, which sounds a little bit stupid, especially from what we just saw today, but that's the reality in my opinion. We take a look at a team that can circulate the ball from minute 1 to last minute and can try for things. Today, the team was reaching those final levels of intensity to try and win the game. And that is something that before didn't happen. So I'm happy that we see that improvement right there. It's Koeman actually making these players fitter and making them just how could say, making them more have more chemistry between one another for actually fighting for these games at the end. A lot of the time we would see before in Barcelona that the team would just break down completely and they would look like every single man was fighting for himself, and that is not what you want. So I agree in that thing that I believe we see some improvements. I'm happy for that. I really, really am. I believe our attack looks a lot more dangerous, to be completely honest. Not necessarily, one thing is the finishing, the other thing is that we actually produce the chances. The chances are coming, but our finishing is crap. So that is where I think we are. Shankar still says Koeman should have teach their players how to shoot from outside the box. Nobody's showing the confidence to shoot. Koeman is the best goal scoring center back in history of all time, after all. That is a great analysis, to be completely honest, and something I haven't mentioned so far. When you have situations like this, where you just have such a low block, shooting from outside the box just gives you a completely different asset that it's unpredictable. You cannot predict that as a manager, telling to your defender that they should look out for that. And that is something that honestly we have good players in the side that can do that. You take a look at Pjanic, is one of them, but for that, I mean, he needs to start, right? And Messi can also do that. Griezmann can also do that. So we need to try to find these pockets of space where our players can actually shoot. Sergio Dest had a shot on goal. It was impressively saved by Pacheco, which Pacheco, we have to take our hat off to him. He was the man of the match by far. So absolutely just impressed by him. And then we saw shots from Pjanic, which were kind of weak in a way. And I was very, very reluctant to give criticism to him in that situation. But honestly, a man of his experience should be able to put that on target. Really, really, to be honest. Some of you are saying, Eminex Jr. saying, for instance, Dembele added nothing. Trincao was brilliant the time that he played. I have to agree on that. I like what Trincao has been able to do. The thing about the difference between Trincao and Dembele is that Dembele is a player that likes to stick most to the wing. And when he needs to cut inside, it's mostly because of the actual need that there's no more space. So he actually needs to come in and actually play the ball. And he kind of works with that speed. When you have space in front of you, Dembele is absolutely dangerous. That is why he was good against Juventus. And he has been good in some games before. I remember that game between Barcelona and Villarreal 2 seasons ago where he scored 2 goals. He was impressive because you have that space in behind. Trincao is does the same sort of job done like Dembele, but he's able to do it when there is no space in front of him. He's able to play much better in those tight areas and makes him therefore a much better prospect to try and break teams down. So I'm actually happy that Koeman realized that, but it's the thing that Koeman should have realized that from the get-go. Those are the mistakes, and that's what a manager needs to do to prevent the foreshadowing of problems that might arise later on. That is where I want to see Trincao play from the get-go. Realize the Deportivo Alaves is a team that like to defend. Deportivo Alaves are not going to put it easy. So go ahead with Trincao. Play Trincao there. Do not go with Dembele. Dembele would have been better, for instance, in the second half, maybe, in the last few minutes. Something like that, Dembele can actually change because he's that fast. So yeah, that is where I think. Mradwal Mishra saying, Dembele and Fati should never start together. Reason, both try to create and that makes both wings vulnerable. Busi always goes out of position and he should stop playing. Even Leo is playing bullshit. Okay, let's assess first. I already think I said what I think about Dembele and Fati there. But let's move onwards to Busquets and then move onwards to Messi. So the thing about Sergio Busquets that I'm just and I don't want to tell you my entire video because it's actually next video that we're going to be preparing on the channel. I have to admit that seeing him play is just so bad for my view on him. His whole pedigree status that he had is just falling and crumbling by the minute. He is just a vulnerability. And this is something that I'm going to mention in my video, but playing before with Busquets was always a risk because he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, he's not going to be covering the space like he was doing before. So even in a 4-3-3, he didn't do it as best as he could, because he's not molded to do that. He had two center midfielders that could cover up for him. But now, having only two midfielders and him being one of them, he just is a liability. He really is a liability. He cannot track the runners. He cannot do the simplest and basic foundations of playing a CDM role. So he needs to go. And in case with Messi now, Messi is playing bad. Yes, I agree he's playing bad, but not really horrible in a sense. He's just trying to do a lot more than what does before because the chance creation is mostly coming through him. He's taking that acceleration and actually distributing a little bit more. And the other thing is that we have in that other players now that like to do that own creation by themselves. We take a look at Pedri, we take a look at Trincao, we take a look at Coutinho when he's here, even Griezmann to an extent and Ansu Fati. This team depends a lot less in Lionel Messi. Not necessarily because, not in sense of goals and assists, but they want to depend less on Messi. And when you want, you're actively trying to seek for different outlets. And that in return makes it so Messi is not as much in the spotlight as he was before. So I think that's the best way to explain it. Messi is a different player now under Koeman. He's part of the team a lot more because that's what the team tries to do. So yeah. Did we not know how to cross? I have to admit there were so many bad crosses. Dest had a cross that was awful. Pjanic had a cross that was awful. Trincao had a cross that it's awful. It's like the team is focusing a lot more on the actually systematic kind of foundations of each individual player. So the running, the discipline, the prioritization of certain things, when to run, when to come back. And they're not really looking at the finishing, but hopefully Koeman now once a week or twice a week gives these players a proper finishing session because they need to be sharp. It's not that they don't know how to finish, it's just that they are out of shape. They need to learn how to put the ball in the back of the net because there are many finishers in this team and none of them are even close to what the team actually needs. What else on the comments? Let's take a look. Messi creates more chances now. His role is different under Koeman. Exactly. He's not there for the finishing. He's not there for the actual big moments. He still is that player. Do not get me wrong, but he's doing different things. Messi had 15 dribbles, 13 completed. Who says he had a bad game? That's what I mean. It's not that Messi's playing bad. It's that he's simply appearing a lot less because he's trying to do more for the team rather than actually trying to win the game in that sense. Ernesto Alvarez is coming back to Barcelona. No, please. I don't want that. While you continue doing that, chat, guys, let me open up my... You know what? Let's open Twitter. Why not? Let's go on Twitter and let's see some of the reactions because that's always kind of helpful to see really how is everything going. So here we have Ronald Koeman saying, Ansu substitution, ? If you criticize me one day for making the changes late, today I made the changes at the break. Ansu had chances, but I have tried to make some changes with the players we have on the bench. I agree to some extent. Ansu, in my opinion, already could have been more useful, I have to admit, in the sense, in those last few minutes. He could have done more. He could have entered the center, but that's mostly down to Koeman, for Koeman to actually give Ansu Fati the instruction of entering into the center and trying to finish as a poacher. That is something that he should have done a lot more. But I also like that Koeman is changing at that because you just need to try and win it, and perhaps Braithwaite can do something, which he didn't do that much. Let me be honest. It was like he didn't never play. But Koeman, he kind of needs to do that in a way. Messi ilusionó el Barcelona mucho. Okay, this is exactly what I feel right now. This is Alfredo Martinez, a reporter that does a lot of work in Barcelona, and he says that I'm just saying his opinion, which is my opinion as well. He's saying Barcelona still gives me a lot of hope. There's, of course, a lot to work with, but there's still also a lot to hold on to. They're not having the best of moments. They don't have they don't have the wind on their face, so they're not going in the right direction so far. But there's still a lot interesting for the future. Patience. Just with time, everything will get better. That is something what I feel. That is really, really how I feel about now. And here we need to win these games. De Jong reacting to the 1-1 draw against Alaves. Let me hear this. I'm not actually gonna put it because last time I put a video like this, I got a copyright. So I'm not gonna put that. Sorry about that. Look at that. That's just disappointing, to be completely honest. That is really, really disappointing. But for me, man, for me, it has to be Busquets. I just cannot simply get away from how I think that he needs to change. I really, really think that. I really think that he needs to go. That's my opinion. I think he really, really, really needs to go. Wow, look at this. 107 touches, 100 aerial duels won, 13 take-ons completed, 13 touches in opposition's box, 10 shots, 5 shots on target, 4 chances created, 3 fouls won. But no goal. The goal needs to come. The goal is coming. I know it. The goal from open play is coming. It's coming very soon. And it's something that we all need to be happy for him to actually get it. Jed, we says, hey, Buga, I think we played good, although we got a lot of things to improve, but I enjoyed the game, even though the result wasn't one. And the first half wasn't good, but I enjoyed the game. We looked dangerous. I have to share your sentiments in a way. I do believe that the game was proper. The performance of the team was good, but the result just isn't there. And it is going to cost us. It's a result that a small team gets, a mid-table club gets. And Barcelona needs to do better than that. It's just very disappointing because now Barcelona sit at 8 points from Real Madrid. And actually, if you give me a chance now, I'm going to open La Liga table. You just take a look at La Liga table. I'm going to put a little bit of zoom on the thing so you take a look at it. So, for instance, there it is. Real Madrid sit on top with 16 points after beating Huesca today 4-1. Down a pecking order, we have Real Sociedad and we also have Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid can go top if they win their next game against Cádiz on Saturday. If they win that, they'll be able to go top and go on top of La Liga. And here Barcelona sit down at 12. Look at this. This is just not good. 2 losses, 2 draws, 8 points out of a possible, Out of a possible 18 is just so bad. It really is horribly bad. If you add then 3 points to this to equalize all of their teams in 7, you get yourself 11 points. So 11 points would be somewhere around here in 7th. It's been horrible. The last time Barcelona were this bad was under Van Gaal, which Van Gaal was sacked halfway through the season when this happened. There hasn't been any other bad start like this in a long time since then. So it really tells you that Barcelona are a team in transition right now. They really, really are. Look at this form, man. Look at this form. Like, Betis are higher than Barcelona. Osasuna, Elche. My goodness, what the hell is going on? Really, really, really. What the hell is going on? X Prime 10 says, I warn you, these Barca fans nowadays. Where are we? I missed your chat. Give me just 1 second to find it. Okay, X Prime 10 here says, I warn you, these Barca fans nowadays get too excited over nothing. We beat at dismissal Juve and act like we are the best team in the world. The thing is that we beat Juve. It was good. It's a good result, but we need to understand that this is progress. It's just time. And I come here this 1-0, this 1-1 defeat, and I'm gutted. I'm honestly just disappointed because of the result. But what I've seen on the field is not that bad. It has legs to actually work. And that is a message that I try to transmit to you guys. There is hope in this side. It just needs time. And today, it would have been a victory if it wasn't for the mistake from Neto. And that is something that can happen 1 in a million times. So it happened today. Sure, we can move over it. But this team is working. This team is actually fighting for something. We're actually seeing new faces coming in. Before, we talk about Rakitic and Suarez and Vidal all the time. And now we bring in Serginho that's from the bench. We bring Francisco Trincao. We bring Pedri. We have Dembélé starting. We have Ansu Fati. We're actually seeing change. And that is what I'm happy about. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of being a Barcelona fan right now. because we are seeing transition and we're seeing new faces. And for me, that makes me excited. That really makes me excited. Um, Tarek Yunis with a $10 donation. Thank you very much for your donation, Tarek. Once again, I just always have to say this for disclaimer reasons. It's amazing for all of you to donate here on the channel. Every time that you donate, this money goes back into the channel by being a course for me to learn a new skill for editing, for just making something happen, new graphics, things like that, new equipment. Everything goes back into the channel. I never try to spend the money from it. I think that's the best way for a good economy. But well, anyways, Tarek says, we were bad in the first half, but we did very well in the second. Koeman needs to start Pedri, Pjanic, and Dest every game. We had 20 shots on goal, 6 on target in the second half. Their keeper was on fire. I agree once again. This is a sort of mentality that we need to have every single Barcelona fan right now. The first half was bad, but then the second, when we have these players come in, we actually perform better. And now the thing that I also have to admit is that Koeman needs to just make these substitutions. He needs to make Pedri start potentially 4 out of every 6 games. He needs to start a lot of games now. He's really proven himself, like Ansu Fati has done to an extent. And also, Pjanic must play alongside Frankie de Jong. I cannot stress how over I am Busquets right now. I really, really can't. It just needs to disappear. He needs to take away. Arriba Gosh saying, bro, the progress is fine, but the starting 11 was just not up, was not right. You could feel it. And I agree. I agree to a certain extent like that. It's honestly just disappointing. The starting 11 needs to be something that we need to fix from the get-go. You see right now teams, big teams, and they make the substitution, they make their starting 11s as good as they can be. Once you're able to achieve that and get a good consistency in your starting 11 and you actually find what your first team is going to be, then you become better and you get that consistency, you get that traction. Every single player knows what they stand for. And that's when you see the progression of the younger players. So I want Dest to start, I want Pjanic to start, and Pedri to continue playing from the get-go whenever until we see Coutinho back. That's basically what I want. And another donation from Tarek. Perhaps you missed something, and you say, besides what I said in the last super chat, I think we will get. I don't know. In the last super chat. Okay. Why did I read supper, not super. Besides what I said on the last super chat, I think we will keep getting stronger and we will find our feet. Vizca Barça, don't be mad. Hello fans. I agree. It's honestly just it's a moment, a turning point that we need to face. It comes to the point where you as a fan have to understand, what do you want to be? Do you want to support your club for the moment? Or do you want to take it all in so that then you become the fan that you ate all that shit, basically, and then you see your team succeed? That is the sort of fan that I am. I'm ready to take the L's if it means that we can be better. So here, I'm going to go back to Twitter because we had some of the press conference answers from Koeman. So I want to go over it and just see what he's thinking of the game, because it's always good to hear our manager. And Koeman says, the problem is not our performance, but the lack of conversion in front of goal. 100% agree. Literally 100% agree. Retweet right now. 100% agree. Koeman boss. That's what it is. I was criticized for making late substitutions. Well, today I made them at halftime. We tried to do everything in order to win it. If you create so many good chances and you score only one, that's not good. Once again, I'm in the same foot with him. If you want to criticize me for being disappointed and having my head down, then it's better we stop the interview right now. I don't want to talk about Pedri. We've talked about him a lot over these past few days. 2 points from 12 is worrying. Our style and performance was somewhat good, but not converting worries me more. And that is something that, for me, I feel like Koeman right now. The way that you need to be as a manager is be disappointed, is be horrified with what you've been seeing today. Valverde and Quique Setién before, and this is what I don't get when people say they're better, is that they would have just admitted, you know what, yes, it was a bad game, we'll get them in the next one. No, you need to be mad. You need to be shouting, screaming out those players. And I know Koeman is doing that. You just see it in the man's face. He's a strict person. He's a guy that does not cares about anything at all. That's what Dutch people are. If you have known any Dutch people out there, they are like that. They don't care. They go straight to the point. And that is what Koeman is. So I'm happy with Koeman. I really, really am. Dirwan Moasaini, again with a super chat, thank you very much. It says, what is the point of bringing Des for Alba? Just start Des over Roberto and Busquets out and Betty for Fox shoot. Yeah, 100%. Like, what is the point of bringing Roberto, or bringing Des, sorry, if you're just going to keep Roberto at the end, you're going to take Jordi Alba out. The point of a manager, and here is something that I just didn't understand about Valverde, was that you have to try and remedy as many problems that you will find in the future. And right now, you're not doing that. Right now, Koeman is not achieving that process. So even as much you want to criticize everything that's happening, like the not conversing chances, Koeman needs to also understand that a lot of the job that comes is also down to him. So make those changes, make those substitutes, ensure that you have the best team possible so that later on, then you can have no reason to be blamed. That is my way of thinking. Ensure that you can do the best that you can. Suyash Parik saying, so while everyone is whining about Messi not being effective near the box and being easily defended, watch just how they surrounded him like 5 at once. That's another thing, honestly. Messi, on most of the time, he has earned this reputation of... okay, forget what you said. Messi is so good that literally you can just... Every single player out there is going to be looking towards him. So it's no surprise that they're making it hard for him to not score, to not pass it, to not assist. Here Koeman goes ahead and says, Griezmann goal will help him and will give him a boost in confidence. Hopefully. I was happy with Griezmann scoring that goal, to be completely honest, because I tweeted about it as well, saying how it was going to... We actually needed Griezmann in a way. I also said earlier today, for instance, Real Madrid, what Real Madrid needed was Hazard. And Hazard showed up in the game. He scored a goal. In a way, we needed that. And Griezmann also turned up. That is what we need. We need Antoine Griezmann to actually wake, to actually be the Griezmann that he was before. If Griezmann is able to play again to 100%, I am confident that this team will score a lot more goals. And Griezmann by that matter. So, wakey, Antoine, wakey. Koeman, sometimes we're too hesitant in front of goal. We look for the pass instead of having the shot. Yes! That is something that I remember my friend who's a Man City fan. He's telling me that every single time. Like, he doesn't understand what Pep is selling to the players. You have Sterling at one side, Mahrez at the other, Agüero, Gabriel Jesus, whoever is playing. And they continue to pass the ball around instead of just having a shot. If you have a shot, you either have a corner, you either end in a save, or a rebound, or a goal. 4 possible outcomes, which are all better than not scoring a goal. So that is the problem. That is the problem that sometimes players need to understand. Just finish the freaking play. Once you're able to do that, one, you limit the counterattack. So one, we don't get as exposed. Busquets doesn't get as exposed. So yeah, that's what needs to happen, IMO. That is what needs to happen. What else do we have to talk about? Abdullah Khan saying, we need to change that right side of defense. Mid replacing Busquets, Roberto, and Piqué with Pjanic, Des, and Araujo. For me, it is those two changes, Pjanic and Des, that for me need to happen. The thing about Piqué is that I get that a lot of you do not like Gerard right now because he's slow. He forms part of that old kind of guard that we have seen in Barcelona for ages now. But the reality is that he's probably the only player on the field that actually shouts, that actually commands what's happening on the field, that we actually need to work harder and reach a point of success. That is what I like on Busquets. He's a natural leader. And that's what we need to have. We need to have a leader on the field. And if we take Piqué out, we do not have that anymore. There's not a single player, I believe, that can wake up the team. And Piqué can. So that is why for me he's important. That is my point of view on Piqué. I me banco a Piqué. Banco means like I support him to the death, basically. Swapnil Raglani saying hating for not giving Ricky chances is stupid. He wouldn't have changed a thing in this match. Problem finishing chances. The team lacks the striker. Kuman can't be blamed. Again, makes it important. Domen Scafa saying, is Lenglet injured? Yes, that is something which I do not know, honestly. Because Lenglet came out and it looks like he was injured because he was holding his like hip and yeah, it was hip. He's holding his hip all the time and his ribs. I don't know what it was. But but that gives me the only indication that potentially he's injured, and if he's injured, we are in real trouble because one means more Busquets as a center midfielder because De Jong would have to play as a center back. So hopefully he isn't. Hopefully we get Araujo back as soon as possible. Hopefully we get Lenglet if he's injured, and hopefully we get Eddie Garcia in the summer because we need a center back. Like we're screaming for a center back. Umtiti seems to be fit somewhat. So if that's the case, probably Umtiti will play. But let's just say that I do not know exactly what sort of level will Umtiti be in. So yeah, that's where we are. Candes7 saying you need to talk about why Messi is always ignoring Griezmann. Is in so many cases Griezmann could have been played towards goal, but Messi just running into players losing the ball. It's frustrating. I think it's less to do a problem with Messi just trying to see Griezmann. If it was Neymar or Suarez, he would pass the ball, or Pedro or someone like that. But if it's Ansu, if it's anyone else on the team, I just think that he feels a little bit isolated. And that is something that, one, he needs to fix in the sense of playing more with those players. He will trust them a lot more. But the other thing is that he has built himself this sort of pressure that he actually needs to do stuff for the team, which is down on us. And that is not positive. That is not positive. Erin saying, haha, I remember your friend from the Liverpool USCL defeat live stream you did years ago. Whew. Yeah, there's honestly a very nice, a very funny story about that. Like, it's not funny, but I'll tell it anyways. It's funny in a way if you have black humor, a dark sense of humor. Black humor, it's the same thing. So I remember the Liverpool defeat, and I was shouting, I was screaming, and I was like, fuck, and I was just fucking banging my head. I was throwing shit in my room, and the officer or the security guard of the building, he thought somebody was like dying or committing suicide, and I guess that English people don't get as excited as football as a Latin American person does. So I just went to open like the door after the defeat, and my friend comes running in, and he knows it was Liverpool, you know, and my friend like it was me, him, and we lived with 4 other girls in the same house, and they had no idea. Like it's a university. The university gives you the house. And they had no idea that it was football, but me and him, like, we knew it was about football. And he also screamed like that the time that Man City went out to Liverpool, when Man City went out to Spurs. When Man City went out to Spurs, that was hilarious because of the VAR. But anyway, so I opened the door, and the security guard was there, like, going, is everything okay? And I go like, no, it's not okay. Barcelona just fucking lost against Liverpool. And he went crazy at me because he was like, why are you shouting, why are you screaming, why are you doing all your shit in your room and whatever. And I'm like, man, I do not care, we are out of the Champions League. And I was just like, fuck you. And I just closed the door, and I sat there in my room asking myself, why in the world am I supporting Barcelona? No, JK. Gilwan Mwasani again with another super chat. The same people, it seems to be. Yes, how the F are you going to score if you don't shoot? And I agree with you on Piqué having you guys never watch a tennis match, the screams all the time. What? I agree with you on Piqué. Have you guys never watched a tennis match, the screams all the time? Oh yeah, tennis matches are like silent. You need to watch tennis. Like if you're live on the stadium, you have to be like properly correct. Have you seen the way that the ball boys play? They're always like kneeling down on the ground, waiting for like the ball to go out, and they run and they pick it up, and it's all like perfectly exquisite and just like so professional. Football, that's not the case. Football, that is not the case. That really isn't the case. Messi must play right wing. Honestly, playing right wing could be a way for Messi, I believe. If you play Griezmann at the top, Coutinho here, then you have on the left you have Ansu Fati, and on the right you have Messi. I think that front four could work. That is my opinion. I really think that it could work. Eris Slayer saying the Roma and Liverpool defeats were heartbreaking. Bayern defeat, it was just mad. Yeah, honestly, Roma. The thing with Roma is that I never watched Roma game. I never watched it live because I was on a plane. I was like, I booked my flight literally saying like, okay, there's no way that Barca can lose here. Because it was 1 week before I was at Anfield watching Liverpool beat Man City 3-0. So I was there in England and I booked my flight for the next week back home, and it was during the Champions League days because it was the cheapest. And I was like, there's no way that Roma are going to beat Barcelona. Like, there's no way. And they beat them. I finished my flight. I got internet. I opened the phone, and I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. Really? Like, Checo actually scored against us? It was hilarious. The Liverpool defeat was sad and mad. I was just literally shouting, like I told you, throwing everything around my room. And the Bayern defeat was just disappointing. I was just like expecting it, if you know what I mean. So it didn't hurt that much. Dominic Scafa saying, I read a news that Barcelona needs to raise like 190 million euros until January. That's true. Barcelona need to, it's not raise, we need to cut. We need to cut 190 million euros because if not, we go on bankruptcy. Happy, right? Do you think Haaland will be a good fit for Barca? The thing with Haaland is that I like Haaland a lot. I think he's going to be world class. But I always keep saying it. He needs space to work in front of him. If you see the best Haaland is right there with space in front of him or just poacher inside the box really close. Barca is a lot of the time working yourself with the back against the goal. You know, holding up your position, build up play, associating yourself with the cam, associating yourself with the wingers coming in deep. That is something that Haaland doesn't do. So until I see that thing from Haaland, I'm going to say whether yes, he is or not. That is why, Lautaro, in my opinion, is so good for Barca. Janelle F. Mira saying, if Coutinho was involved, he would have tried many shots. I agree a lot. Abraham Masud Pjanic brought so much directness to our game. I think that's the word. Perfect use of directness right there. Like Erin BugaLuis, I'm trying to imagine you telling a guard, fuck you. Like, that's the thing, guys. You don't know me. Like, if I shout my world out when I play FIFA, when I play Dota 2. Those two games make me mad. Like, when you have one, like if you're lagging on FIFA, of course I'm gonna be shouting. But then two, if you're playing Dota and your team sucks, that is the worst. I saw, okay, here, number 7, one last question. Do you think Griezmann should leave Barcelona? Because it is clear that no one wants his services. I think this was supposed to be Griezmann's night to score a hat-trick tonight. Yeah, in a way, I hope that Griezmann could have turned up and be better, but it just wasn't to be. If Griezmann doesn't get better by those means, I think he should leave. That's my opinion. I think he should leave. We could get some money for him. AC1347 says, what do you think of this corner style? They just pass it instead of getting in front of goal. I love the second half, but what was that first half? Okay, yeah. The corners, look, the thing about those type of corners, Barcelona are not only doing them, like a lot of teams does it. The thing about it is that when you're playing your last few minutes, if you just shoot the ball and create a corner, then you have a counter-attack. So that is something that you don't want to happen. So to neglect a counter-attack, you played it out from the back. You played the corner out. So then the whole defensive team is kind of forced to stay there. So they don't go on the counter. That is what Barca is utilizing right there. They are trying to keep them there at bay so they can control the ball for as many minutes as they can. Because what you do not want is then it goes out for a corner or something happens in the box and then Alaves wastes time. No, the best thing is for you to have as much time in the ball as you can in those last few minutes. Forza Barca, great name, says, in my opinion, it's time that players take responsibility and start being a team. We were the opposite of Bayern Munich in terms of mentality, and you can see this week it went out. Yep. In a way, that's the case. Do you think Barca will have another trophy this season? That was from FIFA Renzo. Yep, I think that Barcelona could end trophyless. I don't think the Champions League is possible. I don't really think that. Although we seem to be playing good in the Champions League, then the La Liga, I think it's gonna be real hard to win La Liga, and La Copa del Rey maybe. If you consider the Super Cup the Super Cup a thing as trophy, I guess. Hey Buga, please tell us how old are you? What do you do for living and shit? Because you never made a Q&A video. I used to make Q&A videos a long time ago. So Emerald Mishra says, I am 20 years of age. I was born on the 31st of December of 1999. I am currently on my last year of university. I'm studying media production. And I wish to one day work for a good company creating good content, because YouTube, I love YouTube, but as you've seen, I'm trying to create content rather than YouTube videos, if you know what I mean. There's a difference in my way of seeing it. So that's kind of where I am right now. And you asked me, where do I live? I am from Peru. I am currently in Peru, but I alternate between England and Peru because I'm studying in England. So yeah, that's gonna be it for right now, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed this live review format. And once again, just before I leave, I'm gonna leave you with a hint as to what the next video might be. Here I'm doing the thumbnail. You can see we have all the layers here. Here are my other thumbnails. Where are they? Bam, the other thumbnail of the Clásico. Here is the one I'm working on right now. So probably you know what the next video will be about. So if you want to watch this video, you want to stay tuned for it, be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop us a like, and I enjoyed talking with you a lot. It's good to see. And quickly, I see two new names that I have never seen before, and that's Kenson Emmanuel and Mahmoud Daoud. Kenson Emmanuel, I think I've seen you before. I don't know your recent time, but I think I have seen you before on this channel. And says, shit, I'm 20 years old too, and I was born the 7th of December. Oh, close. Trincao was born on the 29th, and Todibo was born on the 30th. So Trincao is 2 days older than me, and Todibo was only 1. And then Kenson Emmanuel says, what place do you think Barca will finish this season? I think Barca will finish 4th. That came out of my heart. I didn't even think about it, but I think 4th is kind of where we would be. I said, honestly, 3rd is not a bad shout. I think Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid are going to be better than us. I want Atletico Madrid to win the league. That is certainly what I want. So yeah, that's where we are. So I hope that would happen. And guys, think about it as we speak, because I would love to have more moderators on our streams. So if you are capable of being a moderator, be sure to let me know. Be sure to text me on Twitter. Be sure to text me on Instagram. You have my social channels right here. Oh my God, I'm so bad at doing this. It's horrible doing this. You know why so many... Okay, there. And yeah, so if you want to be a moderator for our streams, I would appreciate it a lot. And next week, we have Inter de Milan versus Real Madrid here. We're going to be talking about that game. And we're also going to be talking about Barcelona versus Dynamo Kiev and all Barcelona matches, of course. I'm a Barca fan, so that's what I'm talking about. And big matches as well, like Real Madrid versus Inter. So yeah, that's going to be it. Once again, thank you for everything, and I'll see you in the next one.